We're very quickly running out of time here on RikksFlix to cover what else is coming in 2022, but we've been given some extra time. We've got another episode of RikksFlix coming up back to back with this one, where we're going to delve a lot deeper into the happenings and expectations for 2022. I've teased already something about the Star Wars universe, where I really think this is where we're heading now on the Star Wars side of things. No longer any movies. There's been a lot of controversy about the way that the last three films of the Star Wars universe have been received. Not as badly received as George Lucas's efforts with the first three, but now we've got this very successful Mandalorian and another season of that coming out. Everyone loves Baby Yoda, but first we're going to have the Book of Boba Fett, the spin-off series from that. We'll talk about that next on RikksFlix. We're also going to cast our eye deeper into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Disney Plus universe with Ms. Marvel and the movie called The Marvels heading our way sometime in 2022-23. The live-action series of Avatar, we'll look at that, as well as the Lord of the Rings prequel series, which I think is going to be epic, absolutely epic. And I do apologise, I did tease that we were going to talk with someone very special about The Crown. That is going to happen in our next episode that's coming up back to back with this one, so you won't have to wait too long, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you about the final season of The Last Kingdom, which is a bit like The Crown itself, an adaptation of another era in royal history a long way back when England was first united as one kingdom and became the United Kingdom. Really enjoyed the first 4 seasons of that. The final season is on its way, and we'll delve into that next time that we're together on RikksFlix. And something I'm quite pleased about, and I'll give it a quick mention now, is on the 22nd of December, Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6 become available. I've been looking and looking. I've watched seasons 1 to 5 of this, and I was looking forward to joining Phil Coulson and the team. Yes, Phil Coulson, still alive. He's died and been resurrected more times than I care to remember. He's not really alive in the sense that he's now a robot, replicating all of the functions and capabilities of Agent Phil Coulson, and they've travelled backwards in time to sort of the Captain America era, actually. And I've not seen that season of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Disney Plus, for some reason, only put the first 5 seasons up. Maybe they were waiting for it to have its full run on other television commitments, but now season 6 is coming out in Australia on Disney Plus from the 22nd of December. Something else before I sign off for now when it comes to reviewing what's been out in the cinemas and on the streaming services in this episode of RikksFlix. We cast our eye much more into 2022 in our next episode. But James Bond, the No Time to Die film, I have to confess, I haven't seen it yet, so this certainly doesn't serve as a review. That's why I'm just giving it a mention now. But those I know who have seen it have been quite disappointed. Now, I must say they're people that maybe see the world a little similarly to myself, and I do remember when the Marvel Cinematic Universe reached the point of Avengers Endgame and the end of that film, and there was sort of this emotional send-off, sign-off point at the end of the in the credits for Thor and Chris Hemsworth, who plays him, Jeremy Renner with Hawkeye, etc., and of course Robert Downey Jr. definitely signing off as Tony Stark. And it just seemed to me that they were going to not only sign off on the whole Avengers chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but maybe sign on to a little bit more wokeness, a little bit more gender diversity, racial diversity, etc., in the people who are going to play the major roles in those films. And I thought, no, I reckon I'll just sign off there, because the comic books that I enjoyed on the Marvel front were ones that aligned very much with those early storylines in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now we're venturing much into the era when I wasn't even reading the comics anymore, and it's all much more modern storylines. But I think that's where things are going for James Bond, Agent 007, is they already went, I remember when Daniel Craig first played James Bond, there was a concern that he was showing a bit too much emotion, caring a little bit too much about the emotions of the women that he became preoccupied with, whereas James Bond in the eras gone by, and the Connery era, was very much for the one-night stand. But these are the times we live in, and this is always the adaptation of the characters that occur, moving them up into modern expectations and standards. And I think that's what we're seeing across those franchises that have been well loved and regarded. Otherwise, you risk becoming a dinosaur, and you just need to retire those franchises altogether. So James Bond, No Time to Die, I haven't been in any rush to go out and see it, because I've seen quite some bad reviews about how it is. Apart from the fact people think there might be some very clever references to biological warfare and connections with the pandemic that we're experiencing right now. But personally, I'm not even sure platform No Time to Die might find its way onto sooner rather rather than later. But for me, it sounds a little bit like Wonder Woman 1984, which I did watch, and I'll never get that time back in my life again. That was quite a tedious film and one of the worst films I've seen for some time, aside from Cosmic Sin on Netflix. Folks, if you see that title, Cosmic Sin, don't get sucked in by Bruce Willis being one of the lead characters in that film. It is atrocious. It is one of the most atrocious films I've ever seen. Do not waste your time watching it. And in fact, I think those that participated in it, Bruce Willis included, it was a cosmic sin in itself. And I'll look twice and three times before I think about watching another Bruce Willis film, because that was atrocious. Cosmic Sin, Netflix, don't bother watching it. Well, we'll be back for RikksFlix, casting our eye much more positively and much more into the future, into 2022. What's coming up in cinemas and streaming services. I'll sign off for now, and we'll catch you next time.